the one-stop shop happy hour, and we're coming to you live again from Mario's office here. Wow, what a week, Mario.
Busy week.
What a week, busy week. For those of you that are friends, association, we just had a great luncheon with Mario and Mr. Christopher Gould from Jungle Island, talking about a little bit of real estate development and inspection of inspections. I mean,
Home inspections are extremely important, and the reason for that is because many times things that you cannot see are uncovered in a home inspection.
it's important.
The other thing is that as a buyer, you need to make sure that you understand you can't get emotionally tied to the purchase until after the home inspection and the process is over. You're buying a house. You're buying brick, wood, sheetrock, a roof. That's what you're buying.
But many people feel you're buying your future.
I understand.
Homestead.
After you close and it's now your homestead, then you could add those touches that make it a home, that make it your home. But before you get to that point, you got to do a lot of due diligence to make sure that you don't get burned.
Okay. So can you tell me about the two property home inspections conducted this week? It sounds like you had a very exciting week.
Yeah, we had two home inspections. One was Saturday, which was for a duplex in the Allapattah area, representing a young trio of millennials that are buying their first investment property. And the second one was with the heirs of a former client of mine that passed away a few weeks ago, and the heirs needed to make sure whether they want to sell a house or just turn the house over to the lender. So those are two different scenarios that we're going to talk about today.
Let's start with the duplex. Who was hired to do the inspection of that property?
So with the duplex, we had two different people come out and help us with the inspections. The main inspector was hired by the buyers. They had some kind of relationship with this person, and they came out and they did the full inspection. The second gentleman that came out is a client and referral partner of ours. He came out to give a second opinion to our buyers, and that's Madison Construction, Carlos Figueroa. We appreciate the time and effort. He came out. So we had two different professionals there giving us their opinions.
Right. Well, I want to take a minute and welcome Patty, Chavez, Chiapo, Nestor, Richard, Carlos, Mario. They just tagged you, Mario TV. Mario TV. I love it. I love it. For those of you just tuning in, folks, my name is Andy within South Florida, and we're here like we do every week at 4 o'clock on Thursdays with Mario Quintero, the Mind of Quintero show, Mario TV show from now on, and the one-stop shop here. I want to welcome Johnny, Carlos, Vanessa's tuning in. Folks, we're talking about home inspections and what you need to know, and we're recapping Mario's experiences this week. So what was the main objective of the inspection, Mario?
So the main objection of the duplex was that it's being sold as a duplex, but there was 4 units. That was the first objection. The second objection was that even though there was 4 units, there was only one electrical box that was feeding all 4 units. That is potentially a major problem. Anytime you have multiple units, each unit needs to have its own meter and its own connection for electrical power. The second major thing was that the 2 units that were built, and I want you to know that the investor who bought this a few years ago spent a lot of money. I'm just surprised that he spent all this money updating the property and adding 2 efficiencies in the back and didn't pay a little extra money to permit this properly,
Wow.
and do it the right way, because right now he's actually ending up with a white horse. I mean, he's going to have very difficult time selling that unless it's a cash buyer. The 2 units he built in the back, beautiful 2 efficiencies. You know, marble floors, new bathrooms, a kitchen area. However, the setback of the 2 units is right up to the property line, and you can't do that. So that's the second major problem. The third major problem is that the roof overlap is too wide over the edge of the roof.
Okay.
And it's got to be at least 1/4 of an inch or less, so that if a major wind comes through, it doesn't lift the roof off.
Of course.
So those 3 things were the major problems. And when we started questioning the realtor for the seller, she said, listen, everybody in this area of town does this, so don't worry about it. Okay, we're worried about it.
So in the past video, folks, we talk about Mario's 88 turbulences. This is a freaking storm.
This was a storm.
This is a storm.
And it looked beautiful.
This is not a turbulence.
Right, but I want you to know that the property was very well maintained. To the eye, it looked beautiful. Everything was modernized, everything was really nice, but it's those items that you're not aware of as a buyer that were the problem.
It looked good to the eye, but for a professional, real estate professional and a mortgage professional that has to make these deals fly,
correct,
you're able to identify all those issues.
Right, and in this particular case, I was representing the buyers as a realtor, and I was also handling their mortgage. So I had to make sure that mortgage would be able to fly.
Wow.
And it wouldn't have been able to in this situation.
I want to welcome Joanna, Dinah, Ray. I want to welcome Jose. He's watching. Jay Joseph. Many more people on your feed here. We're double broadcasting, folks. If you're watching us for the first time, my name is Andy within South Florida, and this is Mario Quintero with a one-stop shop, the Mind of Quintero show, coming to you live every Thursday at 4 p.m. from his office. And we're talking about home inspections. And if you paid attention to that word about turbulences, I want to invite you to go check his website, marioshomenews.com, and check out the video library there, and specifically that about the 88 turbulences. That was fun. That was fun. And those are 88 hurdles that you need to cross.
As a minimum.
As a minimum to be able, and we're talking about home inspection. So, Mario, were there any documents of work performed by the seller on this unit?
Was there any what?
Were there any documents of the works that were performed?
No documentation at all. They kept promising us different permits and different things, but they never got to us. So, we ended up canceling the deal.
So now what happens to a property? What happens to this particular property?
It's not our problem. That's their problem.
And it has to be a cash deal.
It has to be a cash deal.
And does the buyer inherit all those problems?
Very, very good question. What happens is the buyer of record, whoever is the current owner, inherits all the problems. So if our buyers would have moved forward and purchased this property, they were inheriting all these problems: the roof, the electrical, the setback. In all actualities, what they were buying was what we call a tear down. That property needs to be completely torn down and rebuilt into a fourplex. Right now, they're selling it as a fourplex, but it's actually a duplex with 2 illegal efficiencies.
And all powered by?
And all powered by 1 meter.
One single meter.
1 meter.
So who pays the light at the end of the month?
So the owner pays for the electric, and he includes extra in their rent to cover the electrical. And
no comment. We're live here.
And they only have 1 meter for the water.
So obviously,
the same thing.
So obviously, we're not mentioning any addresses. Or
no, we're not going there.
We're not going there. We're just highlighting the importance of home inspections.
Correct.
If you're a home buyer or an investor seeking to expand your capital and thinking of getting involved into a home. Wow, man, that was fun. You've had a fun week.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Welcome Eddie Guerra from Guerra Farms. Welcome Regla. God, you got a lot of viewers today, man. This is awesome. I love this live streaming stuff, Mario, that was fun. Tell me about the second property, will you?
I want to mention one more thing about this home inspection. When the inspector went into the attic, the trusses were not at the legal separation that is required for a roof. So there's a certain amount of space that is required for the trusses. These are the
Right.
pieces of
What
wood
holds
that
up
hang
your
the
roof.
These were less than what is required by law. So when we asked for the roof permits, and
There aren't any.
there wasn't any, they said that they were trying to locate the roofer at his house, that he had the paperwork at his house. So once again, due diligence is very important. We never got anything for the roof, but we had enough information to make the decision.
Wow. So, let's move on to property numero dos.
So property number 2, interesting property. This property I handled the reverse mortgage about 10 years ago for the couple that owned it. Since then, the husband had passed away a few years ago, and about a month ago, the wife finally passed away.
Okay.
So the 2 daughters, one lives in Miami, one lives in New Jersey, are the heirs to the property, and they met with me to evaluate what they should do. And it appears that the parents, since I had done the reverse mortgage, had added 2 efficiencies to the back of the house that you could access from inside the house. However, they were illegal.
Oh.
Okay, this is a legal 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, and it's kind of deteriorated some because of their age. They couldn't keep
Right,
up with
of course,
the maintenance
of
and
course.
stuff. But it's actually in a great location in the heart of the city of Miami. So what happened was, after analyzing everything, I let them know that they have to go to probate because they never did the documents that were
Right.
suggested. And by the time the cost and expense and selling the house, the sisters were going to be left with a little bit less than $40,000 to split. There was also a brother who they don't speak to in Chicago, and they didn't want to get him involved in the process. So after evaluating the situation and going through the efficiencies, the outside of the house, this house would also need to be a cash deal, and it would also need to be rehabbed a lot. So I'm estimating $75,000 to $100,000 of work with a lot of unknowns, because we don't know if those efficiencies are going to have to be torn down. So even for an investor coming in, it would be a difficult situation. So the daughters decided that they were just going to turn the house over to the bank and let the bank deal with it.
So, those 2 cases, I think the moral of the story is, just because it has walls and a roof does not mean it's a good investment.
No, I mean,
No.
we looked at the numbers. I did an analysis for the 2 heirs, and we figured out how much it was going to be left over, and they just didn't feel it was worth going through the probate, which is going to take about 6 months. They would have asked me to sell the house for them. We would have had to get contracts,
Right.
show the house. We were going to have to evict the 2 tenants and the efficiencies. So there was a lot of problems for them to say, well, we're going to end up with $15,000 a piece, but we're not going to be released of the emotional ties where our parents lived for another year maybe. So they made a decision that it wasn't worth it.
So it's definitely good advice that if you see a property out there and they offer you a cash basis, and while you think it may look good, like in the first example where it looked fine to the human eye, unless you involve the opinion and the advice of a professional to look at the unknown, analyze what's really there, and analyze what you're buying. Are you buying a deal, or you're buying problems?
Right. So in this particular case, this is probably another tear down, where you
shame.
buy the property at the least amount that you could possibly buy,
of course.
tear it down, and rebuild a legal property on the space based on the number of units allowed for that area, and then you have a good property. But you can't pay full price retail for that property with
Right.
all the problems that it has.
Right. And that's where the expertise comes in. That's where it's the knowledge of the market, knowledge of the industry, knowledge of the ADA plus turbulences come in, that when you're faced with one of those properties, I mean, you could probably smell it a mile away.
Right, and the thing is that you have to do the math. You have to do the analysis, the cost analysis of what it costs to purchase that home, what it costs to rehab the home, what it costs to take care of the violations that are unknown at this point, and then you have to have the after renovation value of what that house could be worth after you finish the rehab, and the numbers just didn't pan out.
The numbers don't add up.
No.
Mario, what option do the heirs of property have?
So in this case, the heirs had the option to either go to probate and see it through, let me sell the property for them, and then they would have cashed out at closing. That was
X amount.
option one. X amount. They were going to get about
X amount.
$15,000 to $16,000 a piece. They would have gotten. The second option is what they did, and I explained that second option to them. That with a reverse mortgage, they could call up the servicing company.
Okay.
And let them know what their intentions were with the property, advise them that their mom had passed away, write a letter that I helped them with, and send the letter with an original death certificate in order for the lender to go ahead and do what is called a deed in lieu of foreclosure. So the lender is going to now send some papers to the daughters for them to sign. They'll turn the property over to the lender. The lender will probably go through a foreclosure process, maybe even sell it at auction,
Right.
and be done with it. But immediately, the heirs just want to get away from the situation.
Very, very interesting. And do most of those properties that are in those conditions or have those issues, is that usually the route that they end up in?
Not
Or
necessarily.
it depends. Each property is individual.
Listen, we sold a property in December that it took about 7 months to sell, that had 3 illegal efficiencies.
Okay.
And it was completely all original kitchen, bathroom. I mean, it was a mess. But there was an investor that wanted that property. They're accustomed to buying properties in that area of the city of Miami. They rehab it, they come in, and the numbers at the price that they bought that house made sense to them. The heirs still recovered some money, okay? And then the new owner, the investor, they had the responsibility of asking those tenants to move.
So each property has to be taken up on an individual basis. You got to run the numbers. You have to see if there's illegal construction, what it is, and then at the end of the day, just kind of do the math. Because maybe if you do have the money and you're willing to bring the house down and rebuild, maybe when you rebuild, it's a good investment.
It may make sense.
Right.
This particular investor has their own contractors that work for them exclusively.
Sure.
So when
Definitely
they did
helps.
the math at the price that they bought it at, it made sense for them to come in and rehab the house to flip it.
That is awesome. Awesome. So we talked a little bit our last session about a new project that you are embarking on. How's that going?
So we're still working.
You know, we're live here. This is not scripted, so I'm just gonna put them on the spot here a bit because that was a really exciting project.
So we're still putting that together. We're talking to some investors and how they want to participate with their monies, or they want to put monies in.
Right.
We've talked to one realtor who wants to participate on our team in a particular area of town. I still have to talk to about 2 or 3 other realtors to see if they want to come on board. So, you know, this is not something you just rush into.
Right.
We're putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and whether it takes another 30 days or another 60 days is not important. What's important is that when we take off with this and we start making commitments, that all the pieces are in place.
And if you want to learn more about what Mario has just talked about, go check out marioshomenews.com and check it out. We have a video session there of a brand new division. We call it a division.
It's a division.
A brand new division that the Mind of Quintero is coming up with along with his team. And if you are the right person with the right mind to invest, hooking up with Mario and his team will definitely be very good for you in 2019. I want to welcome Mr. David Arbetter Hot Dogs over there on
One of my favorite places. I go there once a month.
The best dogs in town. Best dogs in town. Vanessa, Maria, everybody on the broadcast, folks, go ahead and share this. There's a little button there that says share on the bottom. Share this broadcast so that more people can learn. Maybe you know somebody that's in the process of looking at a home, that's looking to do a home inspection. Maybe, just maybe, by them seeing this video, you can help them out. So, 2 questions.
2 listings.
2 listings.
2 new listings this week I want to introduce to the people that are watching us. First of all, for those of you who are looking for your first home,
Okay.
at a very reasonable price, we just listed a 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo in the hammocks, basically hammocks trails, for $145,000.
Wow.
It needs 20% down to
Okay.
make the purchase.
Still.
And we've had a lot of action, a lot of people going to see it this past week. But if you're interested, we could give you a private viewing of that. And then we have a house in Homestead that we just listed on Monday. It's a 4-2 split home. It's got its own in-law quarters, mother-daughter type of situation next to the main house. It's all one piece, but the owners are finishing up their final painting and touch up and stuff like that. And we have an open house this Saturday.
Nice.
From 12 to 3. It's in Homestead, 599 Northwest 14th Street. So if you're looking in Homestead, this is the older part of Homestead.
Okay.
Not where all the new developments are. It's kind of like a neighborhood setting.
Okay.
Very quiet, peaceful area, but close enough to the new downtown development center.
Nice.
You're about a 5-minute ride away, and then you're a 5-minute ride, 10-minute ride close to the turnpike where all the new malls and everything are going up. But it's a very nice property. It's a corner property, has avocado, mango, and lychee trees in the backyard.
That works for me.
It has room for a pool, and it's priced. Check
Uh-huh.
this out at $315,000.
Wow.
It's
What
a
a
great.
deal.
It's a great deal.
What a deal.
It's a great deal.
What a deal. Maybe a house is in my future. Maybe this year it is time, but you know what? I don't have the money. I don't have the credit. I mean, all those roadblocks and hurdles, I encourage you to contact Mario Quintero because, believe it or not, this guy has solutions for you. Check out marioshomenews.com and take a look at some of those video series that we've done. People don't need a lot. They just need the desire to buy and need the will to take that first step and basically just say, hey, I'm becoming a homeowner this year.
If you have the motivation, we can help you through the turbulence, through the process. We'll hold your hand all the way through. It's just that you need to have the motivation to move forward. A lot of people sometimes fear of the unknown holds them back. And all I basically tell people is there's nothing to be afraid of. People do this every single day. They buy homes. And you don't need to be stuck in a small apartment somewhere when you can afford to buy a home, or at least find out whether you can afford to buy the home now, or you got to wait 6 months or 9 months. Whatever it is, we will put a plan together to get you to achieve that home ownership plan.
Awesome. As always, folks, if you have any questions, leave them on the chat. If you're watching us live, you can leave them on the chat. Mario will get to your questions. If you're watching us on the replay, by all means, leave them on the chat as well. And always, you can contact Mario. What's the best number? Mario, I know you have different numbers. What's the best number somebody can call you at any hour of the day?
So at any hour of the day, except when I'm sleeping.
I got him on the spot here.
It's 305-588-0451. That's my cell. And during business hours here at the office is 305-598-1600. And our website, marioshomenews.com, has all our information, all our emails. It has all our websites, all our videos. So it's a great place for you to check out the different resources that we have.
You guys got to check out also his YouTube channel. I hear that's hopping.
I hear that it's getting full.
That's hopping. Folks, thank you for the love. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Andy within South Florida. We're here with Mario Quintero. If you're just tuning in or if this is your first time, this is the One-Stop Shop Happy Hour. And every week on Thursdays at 4 o'clock, we come to you with very valuable bits of information on the world of real estate and mortgage lending. And that's why they call him the One-Stop Shop, by the way, because he does both. There's no need to separate or to deal with more headaches and turbulences. Call Mario Quintero and he can take care of your real estate needs, your financing needs under one roof, and it just makes life a lot easier.
It surely does.
Awesome. Thank you for the love, folks. Andy here within South Florida. Mario Quintero. Thank you. Catch you guys next week on Thursday.
Thank you.
Bye now.